one of my favorite things to talk about. So, self-care and resiliency. I think those are, in my field at least, two of the biggest buzzwords that I hear constantly. And one, resiliency is not real. So, a study out of U of M, actually, U of M, showed that the folks who are least resilient are white men. So, even if a small, what others would consider to be a small, minor thing happens to them, it can have huge impacts that can really prevent them from thriving for fortunately longer portions of time more than any other demographic. And white men, of all the people, are actually disadvantaged when it comes to resilience. The folks who have the most resilience are Black women, right? So if something small, something huge happens to Black women, the studies show that they are the most resilient. They're able to keep on keeping on and keep doing the thing. Now, here is the thing that makes this really horrible and makes
Mhm.
resilience not a thing. White men statistically live 6.6 years longer than any other demographic identity or community. And Black women statistically live at one of the shortest life expectancies and intergenerational trauma and health disparities. So when we say, look at you, XYZ marginalized person, and all of the harm that you face, you are so brave. You are so
Mhm.
resilient. I don't know how you do it, but I applaud you. It's because I'm literally sacrificing my life
Mm,
on the later end. It's because I'll actually die before you.
mm,
That is how I'm doing it. So my resilience to survive right now is literally at my expense of how long I will live.
mm.
And that is just such an eye opener to me because when I hear those words, especially coming from systems or people from privilege,
Yeah.
what I hear is burden shifting. What I hear is actually, if I'm a system, hi, I'm a system and I cause immense harm to you. I do active harm to you. A matter of fact, it's why I was built. I was built for settler colonialism, under settler. I was literally built to help white men thrive. And that's still what I'm doing. I was built to do harm to you. And I'm hearing that you're experiencing that harm.
Yeah.
But you know what? Instead of me changing, instead of me stopping to do that harm or me having to evaluate why I do that harm, where that harm comes from, ways in which we can come together and reform that harm or abolish that harm or move on to something better. What I'd instead like to say is, have you tried taking a bubble bath? Tried
Yeah.
exercise? Have you tried doing some online shopping? Because treat yourself. It is a burden shift. It is, this is not on me. I don't need to change. I get to keep doing harm. But what you need to do, and I love this, is clock out, take a bubble bath on your own time to
Mhm.
self care so that you're able to clock right back in at 9 a.m. tomorrow and go right back to doing the work that we expect you to do under capitalism. Self care and resiliency is far more about ensuring capitalistic labor output than it is actually taking care of people. It is a burden shifting to ensure we don't have to pay you to self care,
Mm,
but you're good enough to go when you clock in the morning. It
mm.
is a burden shifting perspective because those things are immense privileges, right? You could have came up to me and said, wow, your car is broke and you can't get to work and you don't have any money to eat. Wow, gosh, I'm so sorry. You're so resilient. I'll tell you what, Tay, have you thought about this? How
Oof.
you going to self-care tonight? How you going to treat
Ooh.
yourself tonight? I literally cannot.
Mhm.
I am going to find a way to get to work at my own expense. Self care is a luxury. And every time we think this, like, good vibes only, positive vibes only, you got to think positive, you got to self care, take care. It is such a privilege. And we forget about that. We forget about the privilege to do those things. And I also feel like it is such a white culture, it's such a sell your oppression back to you trick. that's just like, why aren't you taking care of yourself? This
Mm-hmm.
is up to you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why haven't you lifted up yourself by the bootstraps and taken that bubble bath, right? The amount of times I've been told to go exercise and work out and move your body is so ableist
Yeah.
and so gross and disgusting, and it does not solve systemic institutional oppression.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
please
not
stop
about
suggesting those things to me.
it's not about how I feel about myself, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all this has nothing to do with my self-esteem. It has nothing to do with my yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, I
That's
can
all to
take it.
say.
I can sleep, and
Yeah,
the thing is still gonna be here. What I'm talking about is much bigger than that. Mhm.
totally. So that's all to say I have a problematic relationship
Okay.
to self-care and those things.